Democratic Congressman Krishnamoorthi joins us from Illinois. He's on the floor as well. Congressman, thank you. We're trying to get a sense of, the moment out there, but the partisanship. Every day this last several weeks, I've been reminded of the first story I covered every night for a year, which was the O.J. Simpson trial. And there you had Marcia Clark, the district attorney, basically, serving as district attorney, and Chris Darden trying to keep the focus on a murder, a double murder. They tried to keep the focus on the horror of this. These people were killed. And the defense was brilliant because defense changed the topic completely to, what do you think of the LAPD? What do you think of these people? What are their reputation to you? And as somebody said a moment ago, the Democrats' reputation in the Congress isn't so high either. So if you're a Republican, change the topic from what the president may have done or not done. Change the topic to, what do you think of these characters prosecuting our president, impeaching our president? And most of the conversation this morning from the Republican side, from the other side, from you, has been how unfair this process is. Do you trust the Democrats to run a fair process? Do you trust the LAPD to be fair? It seems like a Johnny Cochran defense of the president, intentional or not. Are they winning or losing that argument?
That's not what constituents calling into my office are saying, that they're winning the argument. They disagree. They think that the impeachment inquiry began properly, that the proceedings were conducted fairly. You saw the witnesses in open hearings. The Republicans were allowed to question them at length about any topic, practically, and they did, and they handled themselves well, and their testimony was, compelling, indeed riveting, and showed without a doubt that there's serious, overwhelming evidence of wrongdoing on the part of the president.
How do you think it's going in terms of that middle of the country that may not watch our kinds of programs in the evening, may not watch during the day as the news is progressing, who basically have other things on their mind that may be much more important to their families? It seems like a very difficult, you got a big break about 3 months ago when the whistleblower came out and you got the first, the call records, and then it jumped up in a quantum leap from, say, 25, 30 up to 50. But then the dial stopped moving. How do you get the dial moving in the next several? Well, January's the trial. Today's the impeachment.
Sure, you're right. I think people are much more focused on the holidays and, what presents to get for whom right now. But on the other hand, once the trial begins, we're going to be in a different forum altogether. The Chief Justice of the United States is going to be presiding. He will be able to dispose of motions much quicker than, going through the court process. And hopefully, Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell will arrive at a fair process, one that allows for witnesses to come forward and testify, people like Mick Mulvaney and John Bolton and others. That being said, we have to conduct ourselves with the solemnity and dignity that process requires as well, and bring credit to the House. But I feel that, more people will be tuning in then as well.
If you were the Senate under Chuck Schumer, would you agree to a compromise? Would you say, we want to get John Bolton, we want Mick Mulvaney, so we'll give you the Bidens? We'll give you who? No, because it's how politics works. You can't just ask for what you want and expect to get it. What are you willing to bargain here with?
Sure. Perhaps there might be a narrow list of witnesses that should come forward, but the Bidens are not being impeached. I think this is something that, repeatedly comes up, as you know, and this is not something that's germane to the impeachment.
Well, that's what you
say,
say, and I may agree with you, but the Republicans want to get them. That's what they want. They want to get them. Just like they looked at this morning, they moved the resolution this morning against Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler. You say that's not germane. It is to them. They want to get the Democrats.
Sure, but they also want to, potentially impeach Adam Schiff. That should not be the subject of this impeachment trial. And I think that the American people do want a fair process, but one that can't devolve into a kangaroo court.
Do you think the vote today on the Democratic side will be pretty much unanimous? Who do you see as defectors or people who are not voting aye on both counts, both articles?
I really don't know, Chris. Tonight, I think that the leadership has made it very clear that people should vote their conscience. I have not been whipped. Nobody that I know of has been whipped on our side on this particular vote. It's that serious and it's that weighty.
Yeah, well, thank you. So it's always great to have you on the show, Congressman Krishnamoorthi of Illinois. Thank you for coming on the program
Chris. Absolutely.
right now.